Hey guys, it's Amber from the creative team. Do you have a fear of glitter? Do you avoid using glitter because you just get it all over the place? Today I'll show you how to instantly get control of your glitter and create some gorgeous projects. There's a discount code in the description below, and while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe. Okay, I have some brand new sparkles from Wow. These were recently released and they're just gorgeous. To start off with, I have Crystal, which is a white, clear, sparkly glitter. Then I have Graphite in the middle and Copper Fire on the right. I'll open these up and show you. You can't see the crystal very well because it's so white, but it has like a holographic glitter in there as well. The graphite glitter is gorgeous. If you guys remember Midnight Dream embossing powder, it reminds me a lot of that, but it is just gorgeous. It's almost like a blue hematite or a navy hematite. Just really pretty color. And then we have Copper Fire, and I think this is my favorite, and I don't really go for orange so much, but this is just a gorgeous color, so I'm excited to show you how to use this. So I also have some texture paste here, and this is a transparent gloss. They also have transparent matte, and you can get this from a bunch of different manufacturers. This one is from Ranger, and as always, all of the supplies will be linked down below. So I have a Nuvo spatula here, and I'm just taking some of that texture paste out and putting it on my glass mat. And using glitter with texture paste like this lets you instantly take control of this glitter. Nothing is going to be blowing around. You're not trying to glue it to anything per se with like a different type of adhesive. Even when I've used it with like score tape and sprinkled it over score tape, you still have to sprinkle it over something and kind of like dump it into a receptacle to kind of recollect all of the extras. This just locks that glitter into this paste immediately, and there's no flyaways. The cleanup of this, which I'll show you later, is so simple and quick. So here I'm just mixing it into the texture paste, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I need to add more glitter. I do end up adding more to this. Here I have the Altenew Bubble Wrap stencil. I'll go ahead and just put some purple tape on the back of the stencil to get it adhered to a piece of A2 size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 Neenah Classic Crust Solar White. And so I've added my other two powders, and you can see that I've added more copper to that middle pile. Now the reason I did that is, remember, this texture paste is clear. So if I don't have enough glitter in my mixture, you're going to end up seeing just clear embossing paste, and there's going to be gaps in the pattern, if you will. So it's going to be like dark graphite, and then you'll have these white gaps. So you want to make sure that you have a lot of glitter in your paste. Now, normally I mix way too much embossing paste. So here I was on the more conservative side because I didn't want to have to throw a lot away. And it's not like I can really save this. You might be able to save it for a little bit if you put it into an airtight jar, but I'm not sure how long it would stay wet for. Maybe it does stay wet. I'm not sure. You'll have to test that out. Or let me know in the comments down below. Have you made DIY glitter paste before and successfully kept it in an airtight jar? And how long did it last? Let me know in the comments if you've done that. So here I'm just going to try and scrape up some extra and get that on there. I really could have used a little bit more paste to get full coverage on here, but not to worry. I'm just going to pick this up off my glass mat. A glass mat is a great surface to do this on because it just cleans up so easily. And once I get this down, I'm going to move on to the copper. So I'm just going to clean up my space just a little bit because I'm going to be spreading the copper, and I'm just using a baby wipe, you guys. So I'm going to clean up my surface so that I don't contaminate, and I cleaned off the spatula as well with a baby wipe. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. And so here I want to make sure that my copper and my graphite overlap a little bit, but I'm also conscious of contaminating the copper at the top. So here you'll see a little bit of that here because this is a white paste at the top with the white glitter. You can see I get just a touch of the copper in there right there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my surface because I will end up smearing this stuff if I don't clean it up now. So I'm just wiping it up with a baby wipe. I'll go ahead and peel off my stencil, which comes off really easily because I just have the tape on the back. I'll move that over to the side, and then you want to make sure that you clean your stencils and your tools right away. The glass mat is less important. I find that even the dried bits wiped off of the glass mat with a wipe super easily. You can see the cleanup is really quick. So I grabbed the Altenew Sphere stencil, and I'm just going to let the panel on the right dry while I create another one. Here I have the Gold Dust Sparkles and the Copper Fire. Now, these are from Wow, but I should mention the sparkles are their just pure glitter line. So there's no embossing powder in these at all. Their sparkles line is literally just glitter, no embossing powder. So if you have tried to heat emboss with sparkles before, I'm sure you found that it was not very effective. That's why. It's because there's no embossing powder in there. So I felt like I should mention that because I feel like that can be a little confusing to people. So here on this sphere stencil, I decided to try and add a little bit of dimension to this using the two different colors. So I'm just going to mix this up, and I'm going to add the copper kind of in the middle. The gold is going to be a little bit of my highlight around the edges, and I'll make sure that these overlap as well. It was a little easier for me to add this DIY glitter paste to this stencil because they were smaller. I think I just needed a bigger tool for the bubble wrap stencil, like a stencil pal would have been helpful there. So I'll just peel this off, and this is just gorgeous, you guys. I love how this turned out, and I love the two-toned effect of this. I got just a tiny bit of paste on the bottom there that was on my finger, and so it's dried just a little bit. And you can see I'm just using my thumbnail just to scrape that off a little bit, and it came off completely, which was great. There wasn't any damage to the cardstock. So after these panels dried, I trimmed them down, or at least I trimmed this one down, and then I also cut out some sentiments with the CZ Design Love You Die, and I used Stardream Metallic Copper paper. This was a perfect match for the copper sparkles. I mean, I was just so impressed with how closely it matched, so I had to use it. I thought it would stand out a little bit more if it was a completely different texture than the glitter, but if you don't have a coordinating cardstock, which is probably likely, then you could go ahead and add that paste to a piece of cardstock and then die cut it. That would work as well, and then you could color coordinate it. I'm just going to put a piece of sticky back fun foam on the back of this trimmed down panel. Now, you might have noticed that I trimmed off the white, and I felt like because it was white on white, you couldn't really see it very well. And again, I had contaminated it with a little bit of the copper, so I went ahead and trimmed it off and just made this a smaller panel. I'll add some glue to the back of the copper die cut, and the shadow die was cut from Nina Classic Crest Solar White 110 pound, just so that it would be thicker, but I just have the two pieces. I didn't bother stacking this up any higher than that. I didn't really feel like it was necessary. There's a lot going on with all the sparkle and the shine on this card anyway. I didn't really feel like it needed loads of dimension to it. I do recommend a liquid glue when you're gluing on top of glitter, and here's the final card. Isn't that gorgeous? I love where the two colors meet. To finish the next card, I'll add some foliage with the Wallpaper Art Stamp and Die bundle, and I'm going to stamp this with stazon ink on a piece of vellum. I always forget that extra little cap is inside the stazon ink to make sure that it stays nice and moist. And I do prefer using a stazon ink. Normally I like the stazon pigment ink because it doesn't have that funky smell that like this ink pad has. But I do prefer it when I'm stamping on vellum. Otherwise, you could stamp on vellum and then you could heat emboss if you liked. But I wanted to keep it simple. So I'm just going to stamp a silhouette image here. And then I'll die cut this out with the coordinating die. And here I'm just checking to see the placement. I'm going to add a couple of foam squares to the back of this, and I just grabbed this sentiment out of my sentiment bowl. I'm sure you guys have one too. And this one is from the Simon Says Stamp Word Mix 2 Stamp and Die bundle. So here are the finished cards, and I'll show you the completed pictures. Look at all that shine, you guys. And so easy, right? You could tame the glitter right away and get control of it so that you don't have any flyaways, and cleanup is a breeze. If you feel like you learned something from this video or you enjoyed it, show your appreciation by giving it a like and subscribe down below if you haven't already. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you soon with more inspiration.